you guys. It is March. Can't even believe it. I feel like this year is going fast already, but it's still too wintry. I am so over winter and I really want summertime so we can go camping. So, unfortunately, I kind of didn't hit one of my goals. I wanted to get my first draft completely edited by the end of February, and I have not succeeded. Editing is a much slower process for me, apparently, than writing, and part of that is the first couple weeks I struggled getting back into my document because I was just like mentally just needed a break, I think. So now I need to factor in the future to give myself a little bit of breathing room between writing and editing. So that's a mental note I have taken. And by the time I did start editing again, I was kind of lost on how to do it. I've talked about this a little bit. I was kind of going through like line by line and just kind of editing as I went. And that was just, it was just taking forever. And it was also like, it was not concise enough, I guess, because I was just going through, and I went through the prologue a few times, I went through the first chapter a couple times, and then I went through the second chapter a couple times, and then I was like, oh wait, I need to like go back and change this, and so I went back and changed that, and then I would go back and look at the prologue, and I'm like, I can say that better, and I would rewrite it, and then it was just starting over and restarting, and it was not working. So I felt like this is gonna take me forever. So I was looking stuff up and I discovered that there's more of a method to this than I was realizing. So I decided I was going to kind of follow one of these methods that I was listening to these other authors talk about. So the first step is to you just look at big picture stuff. So you don't get bogged down in that's misspelled and that's not right and I need to do this instead. And instead, you focus on big picture stuff. So does this section work? And if it doesn't, either you chuck it and then you can rewrite it, or you just tweak what you need to do, whatever. Add in stuff that you left out, or, like in my case, I had a really good outline. So I knew where I was going. But as I was writing, some stuff came up and I was like, that's a great idea. I'm going to do that. But I have to go back now and add in stuff to make it so that's believable. So now I'm going through, and I actually, instead of going through the Word document, because that's what I started doing, the problem with that is I have all the underlined stuff and oh, this is poor grammar and this needs to be redone and whatever. So all the stuff that's normally in a Word document where it's do you really need a comma here? That kind of stuff. Where it's just that's important, but not in the first step. So that's very distracting. So there might be a way to turn it off. I don't know. I don't want to get bogged down in learning some of that stuff right this minute. I actually had printed out the whole document so that my husband could read it as I was working on writing it. So I have a whole hard copy of my first draft. And now I can go through with my red pen and make little notes, and I've got sticky notes that I'm putting on there and what about this, and research that and whatever. So I'm not doing those things. I'm not researching right now. I'm just big picture editing. So that is going way faster. I'm already about halfway through, and it's just working so much easier. So then the next step is going to be, I think, what's the next step? The next step is line edits. So the big bulk of it is this first run through and making sure all the pieces are in the right place. And then the next step is to make sure that the grammar's right and that the story flows good. And there's 4 passes that you do with different things each time. And so those subsequent passes just get a little easier because all your big picture stuff is already done. Now you can focus on, would they really say it that way? Maybe, maybe not, that kind of thing. So I feel way better prepared now, and I'm very excited about that. So, yeah. There's not a whole lot else to update about my book because that's just what I've been doing, and I've just been sitting there with my pen and my manuscript and just cutting stuff out, like adding in some stuff, dropping an idea here or there, realizing that I have to add in a scene here to make time work a little bit better in the day, because the sense of time is a little off on some of my scenes. And yeah, it is a lot of fun. It's a big learning curve though, so it's like, I feel like I'm learning a lot with this one, and I wish I could go back in time and have learned all of this when I was doing my first one, because it would have made Hunting Death a much better book. And I'm fighting the urge to do it now, after the fact. And I'm like, you know what? Just leave it alone, at least for the moment. So many people have read it already. I don't want to like change a bunch of stuff. So I'm just gonna leave it and just whatever, it'll be fine. So these subsequent books I feel like are gonna be a lot better than my first one. Yeah. That's just the way it is, I guess, with indie authoring. I am still extremely excited about this and trying to make time to get this done, and I will hopefully be completely done with editing by the end of March, I hope. I want to set myself goals, but I'm also really worried about not meeting those goals and then feeling really disappointed. But you know what? I'm going to be disappointed either way if I don't even work on it or whatever. So I'm just going to try to set myself a goal, have it done by the end of March. And then, I mean, earlier would be amazing, but I'm just going to give myself plenty of time. I have this problem where I jump into projects headlong and I'm like, I can do it, and I can do it as fast as possible, and I know I can do it. And a lot of times I'll finish writing the book, but then I get so burnt out by like pushing so hard to get through it that it's really hard to get to the next step, and it's kind of a long game. And this is actually the problem I've had with writing in the past. Sorry, my toddler's getting into stuff. It's the problem I've had with running in the past, where I will just start sprinting because I know I need to finish and I want to get finished as fast as possible, and I just start sprinting. And then halfway through, I'm just like, I can't run anymore. I'm going to die, you know? And it's like, you have to realize if you're trying to run, yeah, sprinting's great if you're only doing, you know, whatever. I don't know. I never did track, whatever the thing is. And then, but if you're trying to do a 5K, you can't just sprint the first mile. You have to pace yourself a little bit. Like, I mean, you can, but then you end up burning all your energy out and having to walk or limp the rest of the way. So you kind of have to pace yourself. So my problem has always been that I dive headlong and I sprint and don't think about, wait a minute, this is a longer project. And so I just have to figure out what my pace is, what my rhythm is, and get through it that way. So I feel like that's a pretty decent analogy. And it's funny how, like, I'm very the same in lots of aspects of my life. I'm just gonna dive in and go for it, and then like, oh wait. Yeah. That's pretty much it, I guess. I will try to keep you guys updated as I go. And I really like writing my blog posts, but sometimes it just feels easier to do a quick video, although a lot of times there's background noise. But it's at least cute background noise right now. It's not screaming and crying, so it's a little better. Alright. Thank you for watching. If you have read Hunting Death, please let me know about it and write me a review somewhere. I have oh my gosh. I have Goodreads. I have Amazon you can leave a review on. I mean, heck, you can leave a review right here in the comment section. I don't care. But yeah, I would love to know your thoughts and what you're kind of expecting out of this next book, I guess. And yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm just screaming into the void. There's not a whole lot of interaction yet on any of my stuff. But that's kind of that's how it goes with like building a following of any kind. If you want to check out my books, I have a couple short stories. I also have coloring books. And I have so many ideas for so many more projects, but I have not gotten to them yet because I'm also a mom. So a lot of my time goes to raising little children. But we're working on it. We're getting it finished. We're getting it done no matter what our lives look like. So, thank you for watching.